Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me. I really want to read on the protests and who is at the root of a lot of the vandalism and, vandalism really, and any aggression. Who's at the root of that? And I was thinking about it because NPR just came out with a story about the Minneapolis protests. Now, we had known that there were people there who were not there to support Black Lives Matter. They were there for other reasons, to create discord and anarchy, perhaps, anti-government. Now, apparently, the umbrella man in Minneapolis, the guy who was dressed in dark clothes and started some of the vandalism. He was breaking in windows of businesses and things like that. And then protesters were actually trying to dissuade him from doing that. But it turns out, sure enough, he is a member of the Hells Angels and the prison gang, the Aryan Cowboys. So, white supremacists, yes. So I wanted to, and then there were the Boogaloo Bois, and they're still showing up apparently. And I looked into who they were a little bit, and that's a complicated answer, I guess, because there's like two kinds of groups. So one is more libertarian, and maybe even has minority members, and that's all fine. And they're a little more in line with Antifa. And then another group that's more, both groups love guns though, but another group that's more associated with racist violence, overthrowing the government, sparking a societal collapse through a race war. So I don't even know how, but this is a loosely, I think what happens is, like on 4chan, they've used hashtags. And so just because they're they're using some of the same language doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same, they have the same guiding principles. So one half is clearly white supremacist, wants a civil war, wants to destroy central government. And the other side is also against powerful central government and the police. Yeah, so they're there too. And then we've got Antifa, and Antifa is there. They are, there's only a subset of Antifa that is more extreme and would say maybe some vandalism, maybe some preparation to defend yourself by carrying a brick or carrying a knife or something, or pepper spray is all right, that kind of, they're more, there's a subset of Antifa that is like this. And because they kind of would buy into the idea, well, what would have happened if protesters had really pushed things in pre-Nazi Germany, and really made their point. And, so they're more saying desperate times, desperate measures. Okay, and that's a group that was begun in the 80s. Anti-racist action out of that. So interesting. And then there's all these others. Utah Citizens Alarm. Okay, a militia that comes to protect their city against protesters. Proud Boys. Canadian British right-wing group. Anti-racist action. The Bay Area National Anarchists. There's so many groups out there. So let's ask about the more violent things that are happening, the destruction of property, fires, things like that, people toting guns. Who are these people at the protests? And what is that about? All right, so what do we have? We have the lover's card. See, I wondered though about that. Like, are they funded? Are any of them paid or supported by people who want to undermine the Black Lives Matter stuff? I think so. And then we have the Fool card. Some of them are just fools. Okay, well, some of them are just people with a lot of energy and not a lot of wisdom. The Hanged Man. So gradually we will learn more. The Nine of Wands. Some of these folks are folks who are probably trauma survivors who were attracted to, sort of vigilante or homegrown militia kinds of things. Yeah. So some of them are hanging together because they feel like the world is a dangerous place, but that's really more an outgrowth of their own personal experiences than than in fact. So, okay. So, all kinds of reasons, but yes. What about, is this more right wing? Show us the right wing groups. Involvement in these protests. And we have the Nine of Coins, again with the money. It's like there's somebody funding something there. And then we have the Chariot. Okay, that's two. So there are two right-wing groups that are kind of bringing this together, that are kind of bringing this right along. And then we've got, but we have the Two of Cups. See, there's some coordination of this. There is some coordination. Look at 2 coins, 2 cups, 2 sphinxes with the Chariot. There is some coordination, a group or agreement, celebration. Okay, there are 2 main groups. All right, and at least one of these may be politically funded. Yeah, are they any of the ones that I have already asked about, Spirit? They have members in them. What I'm hearing is they have members in some of these. Oh! There have been members who have actually been courted of some of these groups. They think they're elite. Ah! Weird. Very weird. Okay, Hierophant, right? There are politicians, there's politicians involved in this. The press is really looking at this, investigated. Oh, they are being investigated by the FBI though. 10 of Swords, and that will be the end of it. The end of that particular group. Interesting. Okay, what about left wing? What about, like apparently the most extreme in Antifa really don't like capital, they want communism. They, like I said, they're not above using destruction of property, vandalism to make their point. They feel like it's desperate times. Let's see. And they would be against the right and against the status quo in our government. Okay, so we have the 4 of Swords, we have the Judgment Angel, we have the 3 of Swords. Clarity and good judgment. Judgment falls on them, perhaps. Okay, they're weakened as an organization because, this is one group that the Trump administration has pursued for sure. Okay, they are weakened as a result of that. Judgment's fallen. 3 of Swords. Yeah, this is not wise for the larger purpose to have destruction of property. They've made this mistake again and again. So yeah, there is some of that from that small sect within Antifa, but a lot of this is from some shadowy funded group. Those members maybe don't even know they're funded. They're, members are they don't have the whole story. Interesting. And goal of that? Oh, we don't even want to get into that. The goal of that, I think, is partly to justify sending troops in, like they have been, this paramilitary. So, right, Magician. Also, you need saving. These cities need saving, right? Here we come. 8 of Swords. Yeah, to justify jailing some protesters. Something with greed and avarice and create illusion. Ugh. So there's some really weird, there are some weird forces at work here. Essentially exploiting the tragedies that Black Lives Matter are trying to correct. Well, the tragedies that have been simply are mourned, but trying to prevent in the future. Wow. That's why this nonsensical stuff happens. You know, these groups that show up and they do what they want to do, and we have video of them doing what they want to do while the protesters are imploring them not to, you know. All right. What about Black Lives Matter? I think they get concerned that their message is diluted. Some leaders in Black Lives Matter have voiced concern about that. Let's see. 7 of coins. Queen of Wands, that's that rising political energy, and the Devil. Well, yeah, you know, so it is bedeviled. It is bedeviled by these kinds of exploitations, yes. However, we have rising political energy, so this is good, that we'll continue to work on reform, criminal justice reform, and other reforms. So it's mostly these protests are going to work in their favor. Yeah, so that's good. That's good. That's comforting. What a crazy time, right? You guys, I really always see us pulling through. I see America pulling through, its democracy intact. I see some crazy things happening, especially around the election, but pulling through. And in fact, strengthening our democracy in the long run. That's what I see. All right. Well, thank you all for going on that trip with me and looking at these groups. And we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.